Hello and welcome to my student teaching. In this I will be going through slides over the tissue level of organization, and hopefully you learn something new. So right off the bat, tissues are often referred to as the fabric of life. They are what sort of constitutes our body and keeps us together. There are four main types of tissue. This is the epithelial, the connective, the muscle, and the nerve. Each of these are groupings of cells that have similar functions and structures. Don't worry, there are several subcategories for each of these that will complicate them for specific function. So right off the bat, let's get into the epithelial tissue. It covers the surfaces of organs, lines body cavities, and plays a crucial role in protecting, absorbing, secreting, and transporting substances. If you just look down at your hands, you will see epithelial tissue, your skin. So, going through the organization, first let's set some quick ground rules. There is squamous, which is thin, flat cells that allow for rapid diffusion and filtration. Cubital, which are cube-shaped cells involved in secretion and absorption. Columnar, which are tall column-shaped cells with specialized functions such as absorption and secretion. And transitional, which are very unique and can stretch and accommodate changes in organ volume. Those are the cell shapes, and then the number of cell layers. Simple consists of a single layer of cells, which provides a thin barrier for diffusion, absorption, and secretion. Stratified, which is composed of two or more layers, offering protection against mechanical and chemical stresses. And then there are some specialized ones, which we'll get into later. So here you can see some pictures of them, and here's one of the specialized. Pseudostratified, which appears stratified, but consists of a single layer of cells with varying heights. So, as you can see, varying heights. The epithelial tissue is mostly just focused on protection, absorption and secretion, sensation, and transportation. So protection, when you touch your skin, or if a needle hits your skin or something, it will not immediately hurt you. If you've ever watched the Marvel movies, Red Skull from the first Captain America, he's missing all of his skin. That is not good for you. There is nothing there to stop bacteria from entering your body. Absorption and secretion, this is taking up nutrients, ions, waters from the external environment, and secreting such as sweat, mucus, hormones, all very essential to homeostasis for your body. Sensation, which is basically just giving a location for sensory cells like taste buds and your olfactory cells. Basically facilitating the perception of sensory stimulus. And then transportation, epithelial tissue forms the lining for blood vessels and small tubes within organs, which allows those nutrients, gases, and waste products to move around. Just more on pseudostratified. I've mostly put in these slides just to provide images and give some text for the things I'm saying. And now onto connective tissue. So strap in, because connective tissue is the longest section of this. Essentially, connective tissue is widespread tissue throughout the body that serves as a supportive matrix. It serves to connect, protect, and provides structural integrity to various organs and tissues. It grows alongside us as we grow and essentially forms the connectivity of our body. So here you see binding, support, protection, insulation. All connective tissue starts with a common ancestor. Their embryonic origin is the mesenchyme, and from there it adapts to become a fibroblast, chondroblast, osteoblast, or hemopoietic stem cell that essentially is just your blood cells. All of these will adapt depending on what your body needs. And as your body grows from an infant to where you are now, these evolve with you. And then, as you can see, they eventually become much more specialized, and that is what your body is using now. So, fibroblasts are your connective tissue proper, chondroblasts are your cartilage, osteoblasts are your bones, and hemopoietic stem cells are your blood. That's right, blood is actually a connective tissue, but all the specializations on blood will be left to another section. Contrasting it with epithelial tissue, just there's a common origin. Connective tissue is vascular. That just means it has blood. Epithelial tissue is avascular. And connective tissue has a non-living extracellular matrix. So there are 3 different fibers that make up connective tissue. There is collagen, which is the most abundant protein in the human body, and it provides tensile strength and flexibility to connective tissue. It's a bunch of fibrils, that give tendons, ligaments, and skin their strength and resilience while still allowing them to move. The elastic fibers, which is another type of fiber, is what gives them the ability to move. Elastic fibers are composed of elastin proteins and provide elasticity and recoil to tissues. They're found in any structure that requires stretchability, your lungs, your blood vessels, and your skin. And then the third one is the reticular. Reticular fibers make a network that supports the structure of organs like the spleen, lymph nodes, and bone marrow. They're composed of collagen type 3 and So the connective tissue proper is made up of loose connective tissue and dense connective tissue. Loose connective tissue is loosely arranged fibers and cells that provide support and flexibility. And then dense, here's some examples and just uses of loose connective proper. And then dense is composed densely packed collagen fibers that give it more strength and resistance to tension. So again, some examples: tendons, ligaments, attaches bone to bone. Basically just a lot of the stuff that was brought up in the connective tissue proper. So before we move on to bones, I just want to talk a little bit about cartilage. I couldn't find any slides about it, but essentially the chondroblasts, the second one back here, evolves to become your cartilage. Cartilage is just a firm and flexible tissue that is found in areas that require support. Good example, hyaline cartilage is found in your nose. So moving on, we have the osteocytes, which becomes osteocyst tissue, or much more commonly known as bone. Bone is a hard calcified matrix of collagen fibers that are found in bone. Bones provide a structure to your body and allows an attachment site for muscles. It stores calciums, minerals, and fat, and allows your body to move and keep a real structure. Here's a quick picture of the inside of it. And then blood, our final connective tissue. I won't talk too much on blood because it's a whole other section for another student teaching area, but it's a fluid connective tissue that brings nutrients around the body and gets rid of waste. So, before we move on to muscle, essentially, connective tissue is just the framework for your body. It provides protection and defense and allows for storage and transportation. So moving on, we have our muscle tissues. Muscle tissues are responsible for generating force, enabling movement, and maintaining posture. I'm going to have to move a little bit quicker here just because I'm running out of time. So first is our skeletal tissue, or skeletal muscle tissue. This is attached to the bones and responsible for voluntary movement. It's characterized by long cylindrical fibers with multiple nuclei and striated appearance. They're under conscious control and connected to the bones via muscles. Then there is our smooth muscle tissue, which is found in the walls of hollow organs, blood vessels, and other structures. Smooth muscle fibers are non-serrated, spindle-shaped, and under involuntary control. Basically, they act without us meaning to. This is things such as digestion, blood vessel regulation, and reproductive functions. And then lastly, we have our cardiac muscles. These are found in your heart, and they are responsible for involuntary rhythmic contractions. Without this, we would die. So just really quickly moving on, the nervous tissue will be mostly covered in other topics pertaining to the central nervous system, the peripheral nervous system, and the other subdivisions. But essentially, the nervous system is our body's communication network. It allows us to perceive, process, and respond to stimuli. It is built on neurons, or nerve cells, which are the fundamental units of it. Essentially, they transmit and receive cells, or transmit and receive stimulus. So the nervous tissue is made up of neurons and neuroglia. The cells of the nervous tissue are specialized to transmit and receive impulses. Nervous tissue is found in the brain, the spinal cord, and peripheral nerves, which are all throughout your body, and they transmit electrical signals throughout your body from incoming sensations. All right, sorry to rush those last 2 points. I just really have to keep this under 12 minutes. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.